All right, so we've already done kind of our basics of trigonometry, and when we talk about trigonometry, it's with right triangles. I like to remember this cool phrase, so ka toa. Okay, and that's a mnemonic device, just like PEMDAS or is how we remember things. And so SOHCAHTOA we use when we use right triangle trigonometry because the S stands for sine. And in the abbreviation, it's right sin, S-I-N. So sine of theta, that little O with a line through it, is called theta, which is like a variable. So sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay. Cosine of theta, or any angle, is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent of any angle is opposite over adjacent. Okay. So those are all the basic trig functions here. And so we've already done, here's a kind of a basic walkthrough of how we would do that for like number 15, for example. It says tangent of C. So number 15 says tangent of C. So the first thing I'm going to do is circle the angle where I need to do my trigonometry from, which says C, so tangent of C. Okay, from here I'm going to label all my sides. And again, O is opposite, A is adjacent, H is hypotenuse. So I always like starting with the opposite, so this is the opposite side, 12, right, because it's the farthest away from C. Okay, the next easy side to find is the hypotenuse, which the hypotenuse is always, the right angle is always opposite, or the right angle always points to the hypotenuse, so 37 is the hypotenuse. Okay, and then the adjacent side is the one that's left over, or 35. Adjacent means next to. Okay, so we need to do tangent, because the instructions say tangent of C. Okay, which that means opposite over adjacent. So, tangent of C is opposite, which we identified as 12, and adjacent is 35. Okay, so 12 over 35. So that would be the tangent, okay? And so we could actually change this into a decimal if we wanted to, right? I can reduce the fraction. I know 3 goes into both, so that'd be, excuse me, 3 doesn't go into both. I actually think that's as simple as you can get. So 12 divided by 35. So here's what we need to do, okay? So normally, if the tangent of angle C is 12 over 35, we'd be done. But if they want you to actually find the angle, okay? So in order to find out what C is, because notice in this triangle, see how C, we don't know. It's not, is it 20 degrees? Is it 30 degrees? We don't know. So what we do is we actually calculate tangent of C. So what we do is we do 12 divided by 35. So 12 divided by 35. And I get an answer of 0.3429 is what we'll say. So 0.3429. And for this, I only need 4 decimal places. So that's called the 10,000th column. Okay. So tangent of C is 12 over 35. And again, if you divide those, you would get 0.3429. Now, what you're going to do with that is cool. Okay. So tangent of C is 3.3429. And what you do with that is that I'm going to go to this fancy chart here. Okay. I'm going to go to the, whoops. Sorry, let's back it up here. So I'm going to go to this fancy chart. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I come to this chart, and it was 0.3429. So 3429, okay? So what happens here in this chart is, okay, I'm looking at the tangent column, which is right there, okay, and right there. Okay, and I'm looking for the decimal that's closest to 0.3429, okay? Now, unfortunately, I wanted to make it big enough so you can see it, but I wasn't able to fit every single because it goes 1 through 89, okay? So this right here, down towards the bottom, it says 0.3249, but I want 0.3429, okay? So we'll see if there's anything closer. So I'm going to go to another slide here, okay? But remember, only looking at the tangent column. Okay, so 0.3429, okay? I'm looking here and I see 0.3443. That's really close, right? So, and that's in the tangent column. So tangent of C was 0.3429 and 0.3443 is really close. So that means angle C is actually 19 degrees, okay? So what we do is we get the decimal. So we said tangent of C is 0.3429. and I go to this chart and I recognize, oh, 0.3443 is really close to that. And so I pick the one that's closest, and that's at 19 degrees. So that would mean, if I go back here, okay, that means angle C is actually going to be about 19 degrees. Okay? Now, that's how you use the chart, and that's what I want you to use tonight. Tomorrow in class, I'll teach you how to use your calculators and how to do this properly. But that is how you use the chart to find out what the angles are. So tangent of C is 0.3429, and by knowing that, we know that angle C is going to be 19 degrees. Okay? So let's try that out with number 16. Okay, let's try it out with number 16. So tangent of X, okay, so angle X is down here. All right, and we're going to label all of our sides from angle X. So that would mean 30 is the opposite, okay? 50 is the hypotenuse, and 40 is the adjacent. Okay, so that would mean, so tangent of angle X equals opposite, which is 30, over adjacent, which is 40. So 30 over 40, okay. So that would mean tangent of X, if you divide 30 divided by 40, is 0.75. Okay, so I go to my table, and now I'm going to look for, in the tangent column, 0.75. So now I'm on my chart. I'm looking for tangent 0.75. Again, I probably need to go to another slide here. Okay, 0.75. Ooh, look towards the bottom. Okay, so I see 0.7536. That's really close. Again, 0.75. That's about close. So I go over here, and that's going to be 37 degrees. Okay, so what that means is, okay, I come over here, and so that means angle X is 37 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be 37 degrees. There we go. Okay, so that's how we use the decimal using that chart. And again, like I said, we're going to use our calculators tomorrow, and I'll show you how to calculate that on your calculator. You can get exact answers. But for tonight, I want you to you find the regular ratio, find the decimal, and then using the decimal, you go to the fancy chart, and then it will tell you what kind of angle it is. Okay? So, to lead you off here, I'm going to set up these ratios real quick. So sine of Z is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So 12 divided by 37, if we do the calculations, 12 divided by 37, 0.3243. Okay. And sine of Z here, here's Z, so that would be opposite, which is 30, over hypotenuse, which is 50. And that's going to give me a decimal of 0.6. So number 18 is sine of 0.6, and then number 17 is 0.3243. So what are the angles attached to that? Cliffhanger. Wait for it. Or you can pause the video and see for yourself, but here come the answers. So sine of Z at 0.3243 is going to give me an answer of 19 degrees. And sine Z at 0.6 is going to give me somewhere around 38 degrees. Okay? So what you do is you make the ratio just as you normally would, make it a decimal, and then using the table that I've given you, you look at it and say, okay, I go to the sine column at this decimal place, and it tells me what exactly the degree will be. So try it out for these bottom ones, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And I already did all the hard work for you. What you do is you go to the column, go to the degree, and then make it the opposite. All right, so here's what I want you to do. For this worksheet, I need you to find all the angles. So it tells you tan of C, tan of X, whatever it happens to be. I need you to actually find what those angles are by making them all decimals, make all the fractions decimals, and then by using that table, use the decimal in the right column, either sine, cosine, or tangent, and find out what the degree would be.